Hello, give me a one if you can hear me. Give me a one. We are three videos in so far. Three videos in so far of our series titled Recognizing Emotional Manipulation. This is very helpful to a lot of people. All right, great. Listen, there's been a lot of positive feedback with these series because I remember with the Q&As and also the other videos that I do, a lot of the problems that we have, and I'm just men and women, right? It boils down to how easily can we be manipulated? How easy can we become a target? How did I not recognize this before? But they always say hindsight is 2020, but hey, if I can do a lot of things differently going forward, of course I would do that. I don't want to just look back and say, you know what, that was in the past and now I won't have an opportunity to use what I'm learning or use what I've learned. I can guarantee you will run into a person, not only just in, relationships, but maybe in the job where you may recognize some of these tactics. You may recognize that, hey, this person is trying to manipulate me. They're trying to gain something from me that I don't want to give up. How am I in this situation? So I'm glad that I'm getting like such good feedback on this series, and it is so awesome to once again be here with you guys. Hi, everybody. Make sure that you're hitting that like button, the share button, bring a friend. Subscribe to this channel. So many people watch but don't subscribe. Come on, just subscribe. Take a look at my book, When Satan Plays Matchmaker. It is available on Amazon, Apple, what else? Barnes and Noble, get Audible. You can listen to it also. So even if you read it, I really recommend that you also listen to it. It gives a different vibe. It gives a different, just a different feeling. And the person that I actually hired to read the novel, the book, I'm sorry, the novel, not the novel, because it's more of like a reference book. Even he was impacted. Okay. So I was like, wow, this is something that's powerful. It's titled When Satan Plays Matchmaker, Exploring the Spiritual Side of Narcissism. All right, so thank you for being here, and let's get right into it. Listen, I'm about to lose about 10, 15 people on this one. I don't even know if they're all going to stay the whole time, because this one is titled The Speak Life Rhetoric. Speak Life Rhetoric. Now, you don't see this a lot in all sectors. You see this type of talking and this type of conversation or doctrine a lot prevalent in the Black community, where it's known that women have to so-called speak life into their men. In fact, as a community, it's really pushed as if you want a partner, you have to be mentally prepared, physically prepared, financially prepared to take care of this grown, able-bodied person. Okay, so this is a known. I don't want to say, of course, it's not a fact, but this is just a rhetoric. This is talked about a lot. We see this a lot in that type of spaces where these workshops are, even people are paying to figure out how to speak life to so-called keep a man, right? So how are you to build up these types of individuals? When you hear them say, you have to speak life into your man, you have to empower your man, what are they talking about? This is not the same as being in a relationship, of course, with someone you're married to and they're having a bad day. Of course, you don't just ignore them or you kick them while they're down. No, this is a doctrine. This is a well thought out and a well talked about type of way of thinking that a certain community has, and they have pushed on their, not only on their women, but on their children also. Okay. So how are you supposed to build them up? How are you supposed to help them? Um, it could be by anything. It could be by if they needed help with the car, maybe they needed help with the car co-signing, maybe if they need somewhere to live, maybe they're trying to start a business and they don't have the funds for the business. You are, as a woman, are supposed to help them. Maybe they're depressed, they just gotten out of a bad relationship. We talked about that one on the first video, or the second one. You as a woman, you're supposed to speak life over them and make them happy, not depressed anymore. Just as a side note, you don't have the power to do that. Okay. When you're dealing with a person who is severely depressed, or maybe they have some other serious or mental health issues, your job is to not cure them. You are not the cure. If you were the cure, then we would use you for more than just one person. You see what I mean? You're not the cure. You may be the cure for one time, or maybe just like you're making them feel better at one point, but for them to continuously turn to you as a solution, that's not what they should be doing. They should be, if they wanted to work on themselves, the power is not in another individual. As everybody's following what I'm saying, you as a human do not have that type of power to cure the next human, to cure the next person's depression, to cure the next person's low self-esteem. That's not your job to do anyway, right? So you help them out because they're in a mindset that they have some type of disadvantage. And this is why I said that you find this a lot. And let's just talk about the elephant in the room and let's address it. You do see this a lot in Black communities. You see this a lot on, podcasts or shows that are more African American, right? So we have these women that are being told that their men are at a disadvantage, and that you as a woman have to apply your resources to their needs. Okay, does everybody understand that? So they help their men, they speak life into them, and if you do not, you are shamed, you are shunned, you are basically targeted and picked on. And they may, even other women may shame you. They may say, oh, this is why you ain't got no man now, or you're going to be single forever. Things like that, which is really ignorant, because if you don't go along with the agenda that you are their community's workhorse, that you are the one that you have to put on your cape for every situation to help the man out, that is absolutely not true. But yes, you will be shamed, you will be shunned if you have a different way of thinking. They may call you all types of names. They may even call you racist for not helping out the man. Okay, so if you aren't down to speak life into these types of men who are really, they're using this as a manipulation tactic because they're wanting to see how much could I guilt trip out of this individual. So that's actually the game. The manipulation tactic uses guilt as its driving force. Everybody understand that? So the driving force with this one, which is the speak life rhetoric, the manipulation tactic is guilt. It is guilt and shame. They will guilt you into sympathy. They will guilt you into an emotional state. They know that many women desire marriage. Now, I did a video on how narcissists and toxic people, they know what you want. They know what you desire. So what will they do? They conform to your desires. They do what everything that you want them to be, they will be. This is why it's important not to tell too much up front very quickly. especially when they ask you questions that are really personal. You just met this person and you're giving them the blueprint on how you want them to act, which is all a facade. It's all a mask. You've actually told them what you want in a mate, and that's who they're going to become to please you at that moment, because of course they want something out of you, whatever it is that they want. Maybe it's any type of fuel, attention, time, money, resources, your connections, anything like that. But to get back on the topic, they know, these types of men, they know that women desire marriage usually. I'm not saying all, okay? They know that some women desire marriage. So they will manipulate women. They will manipulate you by saying, well, hey, if you want me, you have to build me up. Have you ever seen, this is all over like Facebook and just spaces where it's a lot of men, a lot of Black men, right? And they post a lot of, oh, if she does this, she's a winner, or you have to, there's all these things that they want you to do to put yourself out there to show them that you're worthy. Everybody understand me? You don't really see this a lot. Of course, in a lot of other spaces, you see this. It's forced down your throat in that community. Now, I want you to really think about this here. This rhetoric is coming from someone who needs you. This is how you know it's a manipulation tactic. Everybody with me? Think about how strong and masculine men are supposed to be. If you were a little girl, how did you think about what a man is? Strong, protector, provides for his family, stands up for his rights. He does things independently. He has it together. This is what our ideal man, this is what a man is supposed to be, right? So think about how you have this picture of a man in your mind. Think about how much of a weak and effeminate a man would need to be to turn to a woman, the lesser vessel, and say, hey, you are supposed to build me up. You are supposed to use your resources to help me. Then I can help you. It sounds really, it's giving pimp, it's giving pimpish, it's giving desperate, and it's giving manipulation. That's what it's giving. Does everybody understand that this is a manipulation tactic that is used in large communities where you are guilted and you are shamed into being the breadwinner, being the nurse, the lawyer, the janitor, the everything, the child bearer, and you have to give everything, your resources, your time, your money to your male counterpart with no questions asked. And if you don't, you will be shamed and shunned by both genders. This is an emotional manipulation tactic. Now, I want everyone to really think about this. When someone, and in this case, we're talking about men because we're talking about this as in a community that is giving this speak life rhetoric. Think about how anytime anyone is dependent on you for emotional help, it is a red flag. That's men and women. But in this case, think about a man dependent on you for the emotional help. Huge red flag. What would they do if you weren't there to build them up? What would they do if you were not the caregiver and the breadwinner and the emotional help and the financial banker? What would they do? This is why some of them get obsessive. Some of them get violent when you try to leave, because you were their emotional source. You were their emotional go-to. You were the one that built them up. So when you decide to leave and you get tired of doing all of what you're doing for this situation, a lot of them turn to violence because it gets obsessive. You were the emotional help. You were always supposed to be there. You're always supposed to have their back through everything, help them. I've never seen so many men that needed help. It's pathetic. So when you take away that emotional help and that speak life rhetoric over them, what do they do when you try to leave? A lot of them get obsessive or either violent because they do not want you to leave. Why? They were dependent on you for their emotional stability. That's why. That's not a good, it's not a good look. Okay. So this is why some of them get violent, and it's because they're dependent on you as a woman for their emotional stability. And when they don't have that, that is when they become emotionally unstable. All right. So that was number 3 of our series, recognizing emotional manipulation. The next one coming up is titled The Silent Treatment. The silent treatment. How is this used by men and women to gain something from you, to provoke you, to throw you off emotionally? Okay. All right. So I will see you on the next video. Bye.